Yo, yo. Moody, what up, boss? How you doing, man? You all right? Oh, my man Dain, he's about to join in with me right now. Yo, yo, what's going on? You got some
Yo,
good. Yo, what up, boss?
what up, baby?
I'm just here, taking it light. A
I
little
feel you.
something,
I feel you.
put some things together since I had a little bit of time. This is something that I've been wanting to do for the last couple of years. That I've been trying to get together and do some. I was thinking about doing a podcast before.
hmm
Never got to it. It's been like on my to-do list. So I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and knock some stuff out while I got this time right now.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I'm just tagging your name and everything up here right
Sheesh.
now. Building. I'm new. I'm like an old head almost to the with the
Nah,
IG
don't
and everything.
don't be an old head, man. You be an old head, the internet start acting out,
Word. No, no,
acting
no, no.
crazy.
No, I'm good. I'm real good on that. Yo, be sheezy. Good God, it's good to see your name pop up on my live, boss. All right, yeah. So I'm trying to tap. I'm gonna. There it is. Pin the thing. I'll put your IG. That's the right.
Yeah,
BR.
that's cool. Yep,
All
yep.
right. I'm gonna put your Twitter up there too.
It's the same thing.
Oh, it is. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Same thing.
I ain't know. Does it have an S on the end?
Yeah, it do.
I'm gonna take that down and redo it again.
Okay.
But while we doing that anyway, I'm just gonna let me see. I'm gonna do that again. I'm letting some people tap in right now. Unless we got a couple of people joining us right now.
hmm
And there's some what's up? What's up? Hey, what's up, Red? That's one of my guys, Red Epps. He got a son that's really, really good. Smoke, what's going on?
Mm.
He got a son that's really, really good. Played for me 15U, played 16s with us last year. He really,
hmm
really working on some things now, but he's a player that you're gonna be hearing
Okay.
a lot from very, very shortly. Yeah, and I'm just like I said, I'm typing that joint up. I didn't want to have the wrong spelling of your info up there.
Oh man, nah, man. I mean,
I want
we
people to
got
be
all
able
night.
to drop jewels all the time. You drop jewels on Twitter all the time. So you know
I
what I'm
mean, I
saying?
try, bro. I try.
I want people to be able to tap into it when they want to tap into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always available.
Yeah.
So they
Oh yeah,
can
I know. And I appreciate that too, Dane. Like this is my first like IG basketball talk thing that I'm trying to get done. And you like my first guy that are doing it with me. And people don't know our history. Like, when I first started seeing you come around with the basketball stuff, I was on the outside looking in a little bit, but I was doing my thing on the non-sponsor side. I had to prove
Yep.
myself to do a little bit to
Yep.
get in the mix properly. You know what I mean? So you always been a good guy that I can lean on and talk to about, you know what I'm
Not
saying, to get this
not even
basketball.
not even realizing we go back, to the Hampton years too, anyway.
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
So it was a lot of love there. You
Yeah.
hear that? You hear that feedback? Am I bugging? I think you
Am
ringing.
I I'm gonna make sure I got my TV in my crib muted. I try to turn my little room into a little office space because I've been working from home, doing a whole lot of that going on. Can't
Right.
hear things sounding like Teddy Riley equipment.
Nah, absolutely not.
Yo, I think that must be you, Dave. They talking about. It must be somebody that you know, Dr. Shea Butter.
She said it's nah, it ain't my wife. I'm outside.
Word.
I don't know what it is.
Can y'all Wi-Fi luncheon? Word. I can see you real good, Dane. I don't have no phone.
I see you clear as day too.
Word. So now I just want to get a little background, people, to the folks. Oh, it's a crazy echo. It might be my bed, the room that I'm in. I'm gonna open my door.
He said it's me. Hold on, let me tap out. Hold on, I'm gonna tap out, tap back in.
All right. Yeah, he gonna tap out and tap back in. Is my Sheezy, am I echoing? Because I was in a bedroom. I'm in a room, like and I had my door shut. All right, good luck, Sheezy. Yeah, so he coming back in now. All right, thank you. He connected back with us now. Nah.
It's my joint. I don't know so well. Could it be?
They can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
No, but no echo bars. You good?
Oh, that's
Shout
my
out to
brother.
85 Brittany.
Yeah, that's my brother. That's my real life brother.
That's what's up. Can't replace those.
Right, exactly.
Can't replace those.
Exactly. And then like the good brother Rishizi's in here with us. He was another good reason why we connected and all that. That Hampton.
Yeah.
That
Like
Hampton.
so many don't know. Like I spent my freshman season at Hampton University, 1997 and 98,
Mm-hmm.
and it was tough because coming out of New York, not a comfort zone of not knowing a lot of people. I mean, I committed to Hampton in the summertime, and he might be covering the mic.
I wonder if it's me covering the mic. Is it me, y'all?
Might be me. Could be me covering the mic. Nah, that's me.
Oh, I can hear you good, real good now. I'm using my phone, my cell phone. So
I got it. I got it now because I had it on the table. Had it propped on the table, on the glass table. But yeah, my freshman year, I was at Hampton University, recruited there from Northfield Mount Herman, which was a prep school. And I always tell parents and I tell people, my man Marcus Sloan had a great quote of, everybody wants to be involved with the game of basketball, but, what qualifications do you have? Like, who's taught you the game? There's no right or wrong answer, but the answer in itself can tell you everything that you need to know. So, like in your case, coming under a legendary guy like Boo Williams and Chiz and all those guys over there, like you can sit and pick their brains for hours at a time. That's going to help strengthen your basketball acumen because they've been through so many scenarios that you hope to go through. You may not go through, but it's still something that you, once Boo passes on, once it's Chiz, some of the old heads in the Tidewater area move on, that's something that was given to you, and now you indirectly become that gatekeeper of helping the youth understand the road that they're going to go down. So for me, I had all of that coming up in New York. And going back to my point was like one of the reasons why I definitely feel qualified in just having a scouting service and the confidence in doing what I do is because I've literally, personally, myself, been through every level, every scenario a kid could possibly go through. I was one of those young kids. I was a 70s baby. Moms put me in school early. When I tell people this, they think I'm exaggerating or joking, but I'm really not. My birthday is October 29th. So already I'm past that, September 1 date. But I entered school where by the time I got to the 8th grade, I was 13 years old. I was 13 in the 8th grade. So already, because of a late birthday, I was 12 turning 13. When I got to high school, first day of school, I'm 13 years old on the high school campus. And this is even way, like, the reclass game wasn't even, at that time, you talking about in the 90s, kids reclassing wasn't something they did at the forefront. They did it pretty much on the back end, which is what I did. So you talking about when I crossed the stage as a 12th grader, I was 17 years old. 17. I did decide to end up doing a prep year, and I went to Northfield Mount Herman, which, I mean, it's biased you want to call it, but, like, the numbers don't lie. Like, it's absolutely, without question, the #1 prep school in America. Set in Western Massachusetts. We have a phenomenal campus. John Carroll does a phenomenal job in what he does, and it was a great learning moment for me. So at that time, though, Bill Batty was there, and John Carroll has since taken over. But even with all that being said, a year of prep school, and I was still only 18 years old. Yeah. So I'm not knocking any parent. I'm not knocking any kid that may see this But ask yourself, how many kids do you know with a year of prep school, they're still stepping on a college campus at 18 years old? And that was me. So with that being said, I played in New York City when it was rough, rugged, tough. You talk about guys like Ed Cota, Shaheen Holloway, Lamar Odom, Ron Artest, Eric Barkley, Speedy Claxton, like so many guys I can run down the list. They all were coming through the city. So I did that. Then I went to prep school, so I did that. And then I had an HBCU experience from North of Mount Herman. I followed a young lady by the name of Lauren Jones. Shout out to Lauren. She's on the feed. She's one of, what is it? I don't want to say the wrong year for sorority. She might get mad at me. I think it's I think it's 08, something like that. Anyway, she went there. She was the only person that I knew, literally. Like, I knew her going into the school, and literally the first connection me and you have, the first person I meet is Sean. We at Harkness Hall. I'm in room 212. He's on the first floor down there by Mr. Flood. And it was just an instant connection. It was a relatable relationship with me and him being a football player, me being a basketball player, me, trying to figure life out. And of course I had the love of my teammates just as he did, but we just had a immediate connection. And for me, of course, that freshman year didn't go as planned, because every freshman who comes on every campus, they looking, I'm trying to shine, I'm trying to go to the league. And it did not go that way. Shout out to my man Brent Scott, who we were laughing on one of my posts 2 days ago, because Brent was a senior. And when I tell you, Brent was, lovable guy, didn't want no problems. When I tell you he put me in the rim something crazy, like, and to this day, like, I remember that, like it was a humbling experience. But I genuinely, I mean, from Ken Dunn, Damani Smith, Torrey Farrington, Ramon Hawkins, all my teammates, Greg Brown, Kenyo Hunter, my roommate Tristan Dow, who actually is from Texas, and that actually led to me, somewhat having interest in coming to Texas. My man Billy Toze, Tarvis Williams, God bless the dead, Damon Lumpkin. We had a really good group. We had a close-knit group, and I don't think I've forgotten anyone that I can think of, but we was a really good group of guys. My man Jack, Big Jack from Vegas. Jack is the other cat. Jack held me down too, because Jack, I mean, he was Vin Diesel in the 90s, and nobody messed with Jack. So Jack was a good dude, but I was engulfed in all of that. And then you talking about, again, the HBCU experience where, the social life is what it is. Like, I can only imagine what Hampton looks like now with social media where it's at now. And shout out to Coach Matt. He said Tarvis Williams blocked everything. True story. I think I'm the only person who consecutively dunked on Tarvis, like, in practice, like, with that. Now, I don't want to say with ease, because again, he's one of the top 5 shot blockers that ever played in college basketball. But that's something I can't say walking away from Hampton. I do have that badge of honor in doing that. Doug Belton is another one, and it's ironic. Me and Doug Belton shared the same exact birthday. True story. It was just a year apart. But just the Hampton experience was something. I mean, we played Carolina that year, played NC State. But as I tell any parent or any kid, like, the journey in the basketball world is all about relationships, and how you interact with people, how you keep contact with people is how you ascend in the business. It's not about, you have to find, that a pro, or you have to place people here. Because I tell people all the time, with my service, I do not have to at all send a kid to a school. Like, that's not my job. My job is to inform all my suitors and all my clients who have my scouting service, which is all collegiate based. I don't have any parents. I don't have any AAU directors. I don't do all that. I'm just here to be that resource to assist colleges in finding the proper talent. Now, am I an outlet for parents to email me, call me, text me, hit me on Instagram, hit me on Twitter to ask questions? Absolutely. I'll do that. But by no stretch am I here to take any financial gains from a parent and try to, move my way up. Like, I just, like, first of all, there's no integrity in that. I don't want for not 1 second any parent to believe that they can control the outcome of their child's future with their finances. That's not realistic. That's not, I'm from that era where, like, everyone is not going to get a trophy. You're not. Like, either you're good enough or you're not. And if you're not, you got to get back to work. So for me, I've carved that niche out for myself with college coaches because they know all those things that I just mentioned. I'm not compromised in no way, shape, or form. They know I'm brutally honest sometimes. Sometimes I'm too honest, but at the same time, my job is to help them save time in recruiting a kid. You know what I'm saying? And if it's someone in the 757 that they can get, of course I'm gonna tell them full throttle to go after them. But if they're wasting their time, like, it's no disrespect to that prospect, but a University of Texas is not running, to the Hampton area to spend time with Mark Williams if Mark Williams ain't thinking about Texas. If he's down to Duke, Virginia, Georgetown, and again, he has great options. But I think some parents as well as kids, they get caught up in the madness, in the monotony of recruiting, and they just want all the attention. But it never fails that both parents and kids wake up one day and I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And now they wanna cut their time short. Shout out to my man Tracy Webster, good brother out of Chicago, man. Make sure you got a square for me when this is over, Tracy. But people have to understand that and understand, as someone just said, like, scholarships are earned. They're not given. I had a kid in the gym the other day because I'm in Texas. We're at a 25, we're over 25%. We're probably like at a 40% capacity that they're operating, and gyms are opening back up. Kid was like, oh man, I want these offers. Now, mind you, he's a sophomore. Mind you, he college coaches can't call, underclassmen, sophomores or freshmen until June 15th of their sophomore year. And I'm explaining to him. Say that again?
Say that again for the people. Because I was going
to. Yeah, I mean, to any parent, any kid, understand if you're an underclassman, first of all, freshmen cannot be contacted at all. Now, can freshmen call school? Sure. But as sophomores, you cannot be contacted until June 15th of your sophomore year. So basically, the spring of your sophomore year, the floodgates open up. You have brothers that get on the phone, whether it's midnight. I don't know how to feel about that. I get it. If it's somebody I know, I think they know me well enough to, like, don't call my phone at midnight to talk to my son, or don't, wake up my wife. But at the same time, if it's a school who's really trying to make an impression and they really, really like your child, they may be on that line at 11:59. Your phone may be ringing at 12:01 to make that introduction. But as I tell any parent and any prospect, if you want a good night's rest, if you want to some type of suspense as if it's Christmas, just cut your phone off. Cut your phone off, and then you'll wake up the next morning to how many calls. Now, granted, everybody's level is different. I'm sure there are guys in the Blue Williams program who they're going to have their phone ringing off the hook. Virginia, VCU, Richmond, Old Dominion, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, Wake Forest, whatever. But then you may have some schools where it's William and Mary. It's Hampton. It's Norfolk State. It's Radford. It's James Madison. Everybody's recruitment is different. I learned a good, I'm deep in the South. As Hove said one time, I'm deep in the South, kicking up top game. I learned from a good old farmer down here. He once told me, all eggs don't hatch on the same day. And that's a true story. Everybody's moment is not going to happen at the same time. So you may have a son, I got a son, they both, say they coming up. Your son may get that praise early. Mine may get it later, but it's still no defining moment of where they're going. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I give people the scenario with both Steve Nash and Tim Duncan, who are all-time great players, both multiple MVPs. When Tim Duncan was a sophomore, he was a swimmer. Nobody knew who he was. He still turned out to be one of the greatest, not greatest players, but he is the greatest power forward to ever play. Steve Nash, he was playing soccer.
Word.
He was in Canada. Nobody knew who he was. So, people can't get caught up in the right now. But, of course, we have to be smart enough. We have to be the leaders of this millennial generation, Generation X, of understanding that they're from a microwave society. They're from a put it in there, it's done in 45 seconds. It's done in 90 seconds. Whereas we come from that era where when Nana or Mother or Grand, whoever we call that grandmother, put that cake in the oven, number one, you better not come running through that kitchen. And if you want that cake, you better sit there and wait on it. You got to sit and wait. And we had much of a patience level that I think social media has cut not only in half. Social media has probably cut people's patient level to 85%. There are probably like 15% of parents and kids out there who honestly have patience. They have the wherewithal to understand that, I got to keep working. I'm under the tutelage, of Coach Barry. I'm under the tutelage of Boo Williams. I'm going to be okay. And I think that's something that, in the Nike family, that's without question. Wow, you're going to be given the opportunity to prove your worth. That's why I think every single kid that's going through this quarantine situation, while they may not be able to get in the gym or haven't been able to get in the gym and they probably gotten out of shape, like their mental and their physical should be at an all-time high. Their mental of watching countless film of great players. And when I say film too, and I'll give some jewels to kids and parents that may watch this, I'm not telling you to go watch Steph Curry. I'm not, shout out to Allen Iverson, who's arguably one of the greatest to come from out of your area. I'm not talking about don't watch AI. Don't watch Jordan. I'm not saying don't watch them because they're not good. I'm saying those dudes are anomalies. Those guys we're not going to see again. We're not going to see another Lonzo Mourning again. We're not going to see another Allen Iverson again. We're not going to see another Grant Hill. Those are guys that are just they were special and they're different in their own right. But when I tell you for guys to go maybe watch a Brian Stitt, go watch what Brian Stitt was doing at Virginia and how he lasted in the NBA a long time. Go watch a Terrell Brandon. Go watch, guys that they might not have been great because I don't think people understand. There are 450 active roster jobs in the NBA. 450. There's only about 37 to 45 stars in the NBA. And what I mean by that, like some teams have two. The Lakers got Braun and AD, but then some teams have none. They don't have a star. And you know what I'm saying, in their starting lineup. You take the Knicks, sorry asses. I mean, you have different teams that just don't have a star. I say all that to say, though, there are about 405 role players. You got to find your role. You have to find your role. I had a great conversation with one of my old heads, Charles Jones. He played at Rutgers. He started at Rutgers, and he ended up going to Long Island University, LIU Brooklyn. He's actually, to this day, he's proud of it as well. He's the last American collegiate player to average 30 for a season. Trae Young kind of dipped well below that, but Charles is the last player to average 30. And Charles, one day we sat down and we rapped about, he played in the NBA.
Right.
He rapped about how his stint wasn't that long. And he says it could have lasted longer if he knew more things to do outside of just scoring, because he scored it so well. When you tell a guy that went from 30 to, we just need you to run the offense and score 12. That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, it is.
But then you take a guy who was one of his peers, someone like Mike James. Mike James lasted, 11 years.
Yeah.
Why? Mike James went to Duquesne. He's a Long Island native as well. And he's the NBA champion. So let's be clear on that. But Mike James was able to last longer because he was able to assimilate the role, whatever team he was on, whether it was the Rockets, whether it was the Pistons, he was able to do that. So I say that to say, like, people have to understand, like, anybody with money, they diversify their money. They just don't have, shout out to Pharrell, another, Tidewater legend. Like, Pharrell just doesn't have all his bread in a Chase account.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got a Bank of America. He got a Merrill Lynch. He got, some high-end investments because he diversifies his money. I think basketball players as well, they have to diversify their abilities as a player. Because whether they at Bethel, whether they at Kickerton, any of those schools in that area where they could average 40
Mm-hmm.
They average 40. They average 40 for Boo Williams. But they may go Indiana, Syracuse, Texas, LSU, and they only average 11.
Right.
And they don't like it. Then they want to come home. Then they want to go down the block, and my man Buck and my man Jamal Robinson over there in Hampton, now they want to shoot up all the balls in Hampton. Like, no,
Right.
no. Like,
Right.
I think we as a culture, we have to attack the transfer epidemic. We
Yeah.
can't look at no system. We can't the portal. No, we have to do something to hold our youngins accountable to say, yo, first of all, you're there for an education.
First.
If we really want to go old school, like some women will tell you, they go to college to find their husband. So I don't see why more brothers don't go to college, get their education, and then find maybe 4 to 6 women that they're choosing from to marry. Now, I'm joking. I'm joking when I say that, but no. But on a serious note, like to offset this epidemic with transferring, like it has to be a better job of us patrolling and mentoring our young guys and be like, yo, fellas, like, no, it's not going to be peaches and cream all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's not gonna always go the way that you want. But if you're at a great institution like Virginia Tech, if you're at a great institution, like it really hurt my heart. There was a young gentleman, and this is a true story. Texas kid, with my relationship with the University of Virginia. They're one of the schools that I have. And they came to Texas and they recruited a kid, Marco Anthony. And if you know Tony Bennett, like it's not an exact science on how he does what he does, but he does it well. And if there's one common denominator that you can see, is the fact that you're going to waste your term, you're going to earn your keep, and by the time you're a junior, senior, you're going to help University of Virginia roll.
Right.
Make a long story short, my young man, he comes out here freshman year, doesn't play a lot. Sophomore year, you're sitting behind 3 pros. The guy in front of you, first round pick, y'all win a national championship. He decides to leave.
Right.
And I'm like what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are we chasing? You know what I'm saying? And I just think it's making more kids as well as parents understand the true goal of what's actually going on.
Yeah, because I think they're chasing the NBA more than they're chasing education a lot of times.
Right.
Yeah, causes a lot of that happens. But I think that's what I mean. To me, I think that's what's going on, especially in our culture. I think a lot of people are definitely chasing the NBA stuff for sure.
Right.
And like you touched on it a minute ago, a little bit about with the AAU situation and trying to get guys, and then on the level of AAU that I coach on, and trying to get guys to buy in to that type of system. Being role guys, it kind of starts with us, and it starts with the high school situation and holding everybody accountable the same type of way. Like everybody's going to be treated the same, but you still gotta be able to, hold the guys accountable, make guys play the right way. What the other guys kind of trying to do too, because what when playing you really only have a short period of time to kind of make it all gel together to kind of happen. So all that is, and then, most of the time when you go to college, if you go to college and you play as a freshman at any institution to me or university, you're a real good player to me. If you get on the floor as a freshman and play a lot, like you're damn good, like to be honest, in my opinion. So I think a lot of expectations are kind of a little different or a little weird sometimes with a lot of kids within the transfer portal or going to transfer, because I don't think they understand that part of it. It's going to be a little bit more of a grind there, for the college, and things may not go your way at a little bit of adversity. It always makes it better. Always, I think it just makes the kid, it just that grind and that grit going through that just makes you a better person, a better man, or a better young lady when you come out of that situation when you had to grind out.
Absolutely. I mean, that's life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I think I say it all the time, and I stand by it, that basketball is a microcosm of life. Like everything that you do on the court, at some point in your life, you're probably going to do the same thing, and that you need to understand that. I mean, being a good teammate, it translates to being a good person. That matters. And if you're an asshole on the court, there's probably a great chance you're gonna be an asshole off the court. So
Right.
it's one of those situations that I think we have to teach more life skills with the game with the babies when they're younger, and then as they get older, it becomes second nature.
Mm-hmm. So with a little bit, so you touched on a little bit of your history. I mean, I already knew you was from New York and Queens.
Mm-hmm.
I knew about the preps, all that, But how, what do you think about you got started in the business itself? Like, what made you want to do that and not do the coaching or anything like that? Because you got a lot of people in your corner.
Right.
You're well connected in this basketball world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, what made you think that you really wanted to go on that business side of it and not really be in the coaching world of it?
Well, I definitely felt I was groomed the proper way by a lot of great mentors in New York. But as I got older, I would travel to Vegas every summer. Everyone would meet out in Vegas. Last week in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
huge AAU event. But I used to just go just to watch, the up and coming future New York guys coming up. And when I went, I saw an immediate lack of representation by people of color. We have enough basketball players. At the end of the day, we have enough basketball players. We have enough coaches. We don't have enough GMs. We don't have enough director of basketball operations. We don't have enough owners. We make up a huge, huge portion of the game of basketball, yet we don't have any control.
Right.
To make in a nutshell, people could feel how they may on the high school circuit and the high school grassroots level, but to be truthfully honest, he who controls the pen controls the narrative.
Definitely.
And I'm saying to myself, it was the summer of '08. I look in the gym and I see different coaches at different schools. So that was pretty common. And they were sitting off in one area, but when I looked in the other area where all the evaluators were, there was nobody that looked like me and you.
Wow.
Now I could have easily just immediately went to Twitter like a lot of people do and went on a rant and yada. I was like, nah, I got to do something about this. I got to do something about it because there was no reason why not. When you look at hockey is dominated by Eastern Europeans and Canadians. I guarantee you 75% of the representation and decision makers in hockey, they're coming from some European or Canadian descent.
Right.
When you look at baseball is dominated by Caucasians and Latin Americans. Same thing, the representation in baseball, Latin Americans and Caucasians. Why is basketball and football the only two sports that it's never questioned? That question is never asked. And again, when I asked that question, I was like, yo, I got to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? And I started small. I didn't come out, 100 schools. I didn't come out 50 schools. You know what I'm saying? I had a reputable amount. As I spoke to people around, I was like, yo, you got a scouting service. How many schools did you start with? And guys were like, oh, I have 4. Oh, I had, 10. When I sat down, the Final Four 2012, and I literally mapped out like how many schools that I knew people and we knew about basketball, and they would help support my business. I was at 27 schools. So I was like, yo, I got something. Like, let's go forward with this. And then again, because I've always been a stand-up dude, because I know what I'm talking about, getting more schools wasn't going to be difficult.
Right.
Give you a classic case. The brother Tracy Webster that jumped on here, like I met him when I first started. Like before I started working with Nike basketball, I'm talking about I was my first year. And Tracy was in the transition from Tennessee to Cal Berkeley. But when they did the fact check on me and on my reputation, they saw some of my work, they immediately took my service. Then when we finally sat down and broke bread, he's from Chicago, I'm from New York, there was always a common baseline in a conversation, whether it was somebody, from the Chi that was in New York or somebody from New York that was in the Chi. And then you start sharing commonalities of how you get along with people. And it just took off from there.
Yeah, one of my guys right in the chat, he just was asking. I was going to save that for later because that was a question I was going to ask too, but he jumped out there and he asked about the Rooney Rule in basketball. I know they have that in NFL, but I don't think that's nothing they do in NBA or nothing like that. I don't know if they check.
It's not like I even give you something I could touch on now. And it's funny because I just seen his brother step on the feed now, but like the blatant discrimination on the basketball side
Mm-hmm.
is sickening. It's no different than, God bless, George Lloyd, the brother we lost up in Minnesota. And I saw a tweet today that really hit kind of home. Like damn, like clearly they didn't believe the "I Can't Breathe" shirt.
Right.
Here was a brother that I got choked out again. He's saying I couldn't breathe. That was less than 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe. Wasn't 5 years ago. And if it was, that went fast. But to my point, like the way that we are handled as a culture and how we move culture and how we have influence, I think the next generation, with the one thing that millennials and the Generation X's have to pick up is their fearlessness. They have to apply that when they have leverage.
Right.
They have to apply that when they have leverage, because they're not afraid of anything, but they also have to know that when we got the one leg up, like we have to make them pay.
Right.
And I'm just so over the hashtags. I'm so over, like, growing numb to so many of the deaths that we're seeing, and it's heartbreaking. Like, but to be honest, it's not on us. It's not on me. It's not on you. Like, in that very footage with George Lloyd, like, you had a cop that just wouldn't turn around and see that he was getting choked out.
Yeah,
it has to be the others. It has to be those involved that see that something's not right. They're like, yo, you know what? Yo, pick him up and put him in the car. Like you ain't got to do that. But it's so funny, and I said this, that there was such a campaign for people to not coincide with the Stop Snitching campaign. I've yet to see a campaign for the what they call it, the blue wall.
Yeah.
Which is the police version of not snitching. I've yet to see a fellow cop. I've yet to see anyone from the authority side say, yo, you know what, we got to put an end to this blue wall shit.
Right.
Because too many people are losing their lives, and like, brothers are allowed to, like in Texas, I learned, and I learned this because I know some cops. If a cop gets jammed up here in Houston, all they do is resign and go to the next county over.
County over, yeah. I heard that.
That's all they do.
Off a lot. I heard that happens.
That happens all the time.
Yeah. And
then it happens as if nothing ever happened, and that like, those type of things have to stop. It has to stop. And I didn't mean to go off on that tangent about that, but I mean, again, it's just like, rest in peace to that brother. But it's like, things are happening now, and it's happening, and then like, we're stepping over it and going on until it happens again. And it's just, it's getting beyond disgusting. It's getting beyond, like, disrespectful.
Yeah, it is. So still kind of touching on that, like what you said when you answered about, like, you didn't see a lot of people that look like us doing recruiting services and that. So when you broke into it, because me knowing you personally, I'm sure you broke into a kind of thing, kind of was looked upon or and some people might not have understood how you was able to do that. So do you think that was like frowned upon?
Nah, because again, at the end of the day, I think it's frowned upon when anytime someone tries to get in the industry and they just try to impose their opinion on things that they're just sitting at home on their couch. They're not in the gym. I think people, I think I commanded the respect, because here it is, you talking about a young brother of color who's, I was covering the EYBL, I was covering Adidas, I was covering Under Armour, all on my own. Not some agent was backing me, not some college coach, like me. Like, I wanted to do this. And I think when people were like, wait a minute, who does he work for? You don't work for nobody? Like, what do you mean you don't work for nobody? Like, it did become foreign, but then it ended up taking off. And again, I was able to make a name for myself. At the end of the day, I didn't care what nobody thought about me. Because at the end of the day, I knew the conversations that I was having with fellow coaches, I knew the conversations were amounting to progress at their program. So for me, it didn't, it never bothered me what people might have said. And they definitely wasn't, as we both know, they wasn't saying nothing to my face. So,
Right. So then also, like, so with your recruiting service, so I'm sure, like, when you walk in the gym, probably one of the first things that you're looking, are you going to gyms, like, Pretty much like where you're getting like references to go to see guys play, or you just doing your own research on do that?
I mean, I'll take a reference, but I want to back you up for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You said something that needs clarity that I don't think a lot of people understand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a recruiting service.
Okay.
I got a scouting service.
A scouting service.
There's difference.
Big difference.
A recruiting service is going to tell you who's recruiting a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who in the family needs to be spoken to.
Right.
Which dope boy is taking care of him.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in a gang?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's a recruiting service. A scouting service is actually breaking down someone's game.
Mm-hmm.
And you've known me long enough. Like, we could sit and talk about somebody's game all day long, anybody, any place, and the pros, the cons, and if it's going to translate and what they need at the next level and the level after that. That's a scouting service.
Right.
It's understanding if I go watch a team, they struggle with a zone or they play well in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
They struggle with pressing. They don't struggle with pressing. That's a scouting service. So for me, again, I take pride in knowing I have a scouting service and not a recruiting. Now, a lot of people got recruiting services.
Right.
So for
clarify
them,
that. I'm glad you clarified that, because a lot of I get a lot of information like from a lot of brothers that try to get involved in everything, and that's what a lot of what they use it for is recruiting. So scouting and being able to put your your actual touch on the game, and they're actually depending on what you feel about the game and what's going on.
yeah,
It's different. It's totally different than recruiting.
and I even tell people when you break down the science of the word scouting. Like prime example, I definitely got to plug in with my man for all your high academic kids, not just at Boo Williams, but in the Tidewater area. But my man Jason Kemp is at William and Mary. Really good dude. That's my man. When he's calling me, he needs to know who has the academic profile as well as ability to fit their program at William and Mary.
Right.
Now I told him, I said, like, you need to make Boo Williams your home, because how far is William and Mary?
From Hampton, it's probably like 30 minutes, maybe 30 minutes.
30 minutes. He should be living out that way.
The guy that I think the head coach knows Chiz that just took the job. He called me during the time. We're supposed to be trying to link up and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you did that. It is some good high academic kids in the area too. So that'd be a good one. Definitely plug me with him, and we can
As soon as this is over, I send it to you when your phone pull up. You should have his number, and then definitely I'll make the intro to you guys. But like that's the difference, because you'll have somebody trying to send him all kinds of dudes to William and Mary. Oh man, they don't listen. But if they're not checking off certain boxes for him, they can't
even look at him.
Can't even look at him. They can't even look at him. So that's very important to know and to understand. And it's something that, in knowing the difference between, like I said, the scouting service and the recruiting service, that's key. That saves some people a bunch of time.
My nephew went to William and Mary on a soccer scholarship, right? So he's from Charlotte. They live in Charlottesville. He's from Charlottesville. So he was in high school. He was damn near probably like a 3.5, almost 4.0 student, like extremely high academic kid. Like my older brother is huge in academics. His wife, my sister-in-law, is huge in it. He went to William and Mary and struggled for a year and a half. He just graduated last May from William and Mary.
That's what's up, man.
He was an athlete at William and Mary, played soccer, was CA, like first team, second team, like all rookie team when he was younger. But he told me like it's real vigorous, like the academic, part of being a trying to be an athlete there. William and Mary. But my homegirl said stuff about girls have William and Mary. Our girls, we had a couple of guys on the boys side that has pretty good academic too. So, I'm glad that you backed me up on that, because that's different. I like that part of it, you being able to separate from recruiting and scouting, because that's two things. Because when you're scouting, when you're recruiting, it's totally different from scouting.
Oh no, 100%. And then this is another piece that some people got to understand too, and I call it the Michael Jordan effect. That some people can coach their ass off. they can't recruit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan can play.
Right, but he can't.
He cannot evaluate talent. He
Right,
don't know how to evaluate talent. Michael Jordan I can't even tell you the last in both Washington and Charlotte, he got Kemba Walker right.
I think he got
Kemba. I don't know who else he got right.
The kid that's from Kansas is doing pretty good now. He came up from the G League, so I don't know if he got him or not. If he drafted
You talking about
he's a point. I can't remember.
Yeah. I know you talking. Ah, man, I can't. I got his fit. Graham, Devontae Graham.
Yeah, I'd like
Devontae Graham. I mean, for where he picked him out, okay. But bro, that's 2 in how many years?
In a lot of years.
Exactly. So my whole thing, and it's okay. I think those that get it, they understand it. They understand it. Like, yo, that's my weakness. I don't know how to evaluate. So
Right.
like someone said, like Mike got to make sure, which to his credit, but it's still kind of biased because he brought in Mitch Kupchak, but Mitch got Carolina ties. Like he's got to get the right people. He's got to get the right people evaluated from. And they shout out to Coach Flint up in Minnesota. Her son is on his way for sure. One of the top sophomores in the country. But yes, this will be saved to his live or my live, Coach. It's not a you'll be able to play it back. So I know you probably got to run, and you're a pretty busy woman. So yeah, it'll be there for you, Coach. But yeah, like it's important to make sure you have the right people in the right space. So the colleges, Virginia, Villanova, the successful programs, they get it. And it's not saying that others aren't successful, but they've had the most successful lately. Like you talking about last 5 years, I don't think anyone has more wins than Virginia in the ACC. You know what I'm saying? In the last 5 years, I want to say Nova got 2 chips in the last 5 years. So it's like that's important to and they both programs do a great job of evaluating, not wasting their time and having the right people in contact. Now, don't get me wrong, too. Recruiting services have their purpose too.
Right.
So I don't want anyone who may call their business a recruiting service to think I'm talking down on them. I'm not whatsoever. But I do like to make it clear, like I'm different from a recruiting service with a scouting service.
Oh no, that's a big difference. That's a big, huge change. So you touched on it a little bit earlier too. So what do you think about like ranking? Like what kids are ranked, and does it help you? Does it you rely on it when you head to a gym? Like if you go to you think about it?
Because like I tell people all the time, I'd rather go to a game and watch someone. Shout out to Oliver Antigua up in New York holding it down. I'd rather go to a game and find someone than you tell me, yo, you got to check this dude out, because everybody think they got to do. When they're young, if they can dunk, everybody thinks that kid is going to the pros. He's probably not. Just because somebody's tall, it doesn't work like that. At the end of the day, I do like going into a gym and watching somebody I've never seen before take off and be amazing. I had that issue, and it's funny because again, I was in enemy territory when I first moved to Texas. That everybody was screaming about the Harrison twins. Everybody, and they're like, oh, they this and they pros and they gonna be all stars. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get around to them. So finally, I get around to seeing them, but they playing for their pops. And just me, I have a rule of thumb for any kid, not just them, but like, if someone plays for a family member, I have to switch on a different lens, because they have a level of confidence and they're going to be allowed to do things. Yes, Coach Flint, you can ask whatever question you want by all means.
We're going to get to the questions too, definitely, because I know people going to have some questions and stuff.
She can't. But my point about playing for parents, like a kid that plays for a parent, they have a different level of confidence than they do when they're not playing for their parent.
Oh, no doubt.
So when I saw the twins, I was like, I want to see them in high school. I go to high school, Pops is pretty much still coaching them from the sidelines. So I'm like, I'm still like, I'm not sold on them. So when they picked their college, I said, now I'm going to judge them. And everybody said, oh, well, why you wait now? They all American. They this and they that. I said, no. I said, because Calipari is going to motherfuck them. He's going to curse their ass out. And now I want to see how they're going to respond. Now it's going to tell me how good they're gonna be, because now someone is not kissing their ass.
Yeah, we played them. We played them, Dang, when they played for I want to say Houston Defenders.
Yep, that's his pop's program. That's their father's program.
They gave us work. I ain't even gonna lie.
But yo, you know what's the crazy part? So on that team, it was them two.
Mm-hmm.
It was a dude named Derek Griffin who jumped out the gym.
Mm-hmm.
There was a kid named Jonathan Motley who went to Baylor.
Yep.
He was a problem. And you know who is the only? Well, he stayed in the pros longer than all of them put together.
Mm-hmm. Who?
Wesley Iwundu.
I remember that name. I don't remember him at
Well,
whole
he's on Orlando Magic now.
Okay.
But it's going back to the point about I was saying about a role. He was a role player then. He went to Kansas State where they utilized him in so many ways. And then now he got an opportunity at the NBA. He can now be cross-utilized in so many ways because he wasn't told he was going to be a pro. Matter of fact, he probably stood there and heard all the conversations on how the Twins were going to be pros, which they were, how Derek Griffin was going to be a pro, which he wasn't. And he used that as fuel to his motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly as someone said, he did. Jonathan Wesley Iwundu, he became a better pro and a better person behind that. So it's one of those things where when you plan for a parent, I almost got to see you outside of that spectrum to understand your game. But again, when it comes to rankings, I make it clear, like my rankings are based at that event. But I'm not going to see, Rodney Berry on June 1, and then August 1, he's still whatever ranked player in Virginia. I don't know, because I may see him June 1, and he's amazing. And then I may see him August 1, and he's god-awful.
Right.
But I'm going to write on what I see when I see him, because I can't be everywhere. That's one thing, again, I'm probably one of my more proud moments is people all the time come to me like, yo, I want to work for you. You ever thought about expanding? I'm like, no, but I'll put you on.
Right.
I'll tell you what you need to answer on the test to get your own scouting service.
Right.
I'll help put out, that you're entering the business. You're someone with a great mind and you're eager to do something. I'll do that. But like, not that I don't need the help, but again, we need more scouts.
Right.
We don't need more people working for other people.
Yeah.
You can get out there and get it on your own. And again, if you don't kill nothing, you don't eat nothing.
Yeah.
So if you ain't out there knocking out your reports and doing what you have to do and finding kids and breaking their games down, then you're not going to get nothing done. Because trust me, there's enough bread out here for everybody.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You talking about schools got scouting service budgets of, they're going to be probably slashed now because of COVID-19. But, bro, you got schools that got $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 scouting service budgets.
Word up.
That if you build the right relationship and they know you're giving the proper intel and the content on the Tidewater area, on the whole state of Virginia, on the DMV, they're going to buy your service.
Right.
They're going to buy it. They're not going to penny pinch you. They're going to know, now we got to get, we going to cut somebody's shit, but we ain't cutting, you know what I'm saying, raw shit. We're not cutting that. We need that.
Need that one.
We need that. And it's one of those situations that the work you put in is what you're going to get back out of it. Especially in the scouting industry. Like, you got to be in gyms. I tell you, you got to watch a lot of bad basketball.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not just going to watch Mark Williams. I'm not just going to watch Cam Thomas. I'm going to watch. I got to go watch Scrubs. I got to go watch Division III dudes, Division II dudes, like all those dudes. It's a part of it. And you never, how can I put it? Like, you never take a player for granted when you see him one time, and then you see him another time.
Yep.
And your man said, like, the landscape is saturated. There is truth to that. But if you doing good business, like let me, and I don't know who this is. It's Boo Williams, SLDCU. That's a great question. He said the landscape is saturated. But let me ask you this. When you go to, what's the supermarket y'all got out there? Publix, Whole Foods.
We got Walmart, Food Line.
Food Line. When you go to Food Line and you go to the bread aisle, how many different bread companies do you see?
A lot.
Do you ever hear anybody say, man, there's too many bread companies?
Word.
every bread company got their lane. So whether it's Sunbeam, whether it's Wonder Bread, whether it's Nature's Own, whether it's the store brand, whatever, like, you get what you want. But I tell you this much, everybody know who got the best sweet Hawaiian rolls. Everybody know that company. So when you want a sweet Hawaiian roll, you know what company to go for. So my whole thing is, that's why I believe you can put your niche in when you're doing a good job in this industry, while it may be oversaturated. And just like teams, like it could be 100 teams in the Tidewater area. At the end of the day, Boo Williams is Boo Williams. You understand what I'm saying? People can feel how they want. They either gonna see you early or they're gonna see you later.
Right. We're gonna definitely. So yeah, it's funny. I'm gonna touch on something that you said a minute ago about what I asked you about references from other people telling you. I remember when I first started coaching with Chiz, coaching 16s or whatever on the, and I was like, you was one of my guys that I knew in the business already. So I used to hit you and be like, yo, we got this guy. Then we had a kid, Kyrie Temple, Cam Thomas was on the team, Mike Christmas was on the team, and I hit you.
What happened with Mike Christmas?
He's at JMU.
Okay.
He did pretty good up there. He was a freshman this year. He did pretty good up there this year. So he ended up. I mean, he had a lot of high offers early, but it kind of.
Yeah, I remember that. That's why when you said that name, I remember that. I met his. I want to say I met his dad.
He did. I'm sure you met Sean. Me and you spoke about him, but it was we were playing. I'll never forget. We were playing at Peach Jam. We were playing. We was playing Jalen Green. I'm trying to think. Was he went the Truth?
Yeah, Paul Pierce the Truth. Yep.
So. I had, like I said, I was already hitting you, telling you about my guys, because I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do, like scene like that. So I'm like, anybody that I have a connection with, I'm gonna text them, I'm gonna DM them, I'm gonna hit them up, like, yo, I got guys, all my guys are like that. You know what I'm saying? Like my guys can play. So I was hitting you about Mike, Cam, and Kyrie, a couple of other guys on that team. So you would hit me back and let me know, yeah. But it was even better when y'all came, because I think the 17th session was about to start right after that. A lot of people started coming in the gym, and that's the game Cam had like 40 on that.
42.
Yeah, and that's what and then from that point, he was a freshman then, and he put it in front of you, and you saw him do it. You saw the product yourself, and you was, and then like boom, he is he can do it on the level or whatever. And I started getting a lot more calls about it. So that's really tough right there. That kind of like use your own, because I know a lot of people probably call you, text you, DM you about kids, about guys. You know what I mean? That want you to check guys out. But and like you said, me and you go way back, and you still know our games and stuff like that. But you use your own opinion, formed your own opinion on our guys.
Well, that's the main thing with evaluating, and I would apply this to recruiting as well. I tell any parent. So like even right now. I don't know what the rules are in Virginia as far as moving around, but to any parent, prospect, if you're getting recruited, or if you're being contacted by, if they actually offered you a scholarship, pick one or two of those schools. Just go up to the school. Don't tell the coaching staff. Don't tell anybody. Just go up to the school and walk around. The reception you receive on campus will tell you a lot of what you need to know, because here's why. When my son Chaz, who's 7 years old, and I'm hoping this rings to be true, but if 12 years from now Shaka Smart is still at Texas, when we're walking around campus with Shaka, everybody is going to love him, speak, they're going to kiss his ass, they're going to say all the great things. Cool. I don't want that, because that's not realistic. Because when you go to a school, you're not going to always be with Coach Smart. You're going to be by yourself. So are you going to be perceived as another? Are you going to be perceived as another quote unquote athlete? Right. Are you going to be perceived as a criminal? Are you going to be perceived as a young black man? So by going up to some of these schools on your own and seeing how people receive, if they speak, if they don't speak, that's going to tell you a lot. And then at the end of that trip, either go by the basketball office or call the coaching staff up and like, yeah, coach, we were just on campus walking around. Because you want to feel that energy, you want to feel that vibe of what's the school want to be like.
The little boy Ace Wolf from Chicago, he said when he visit, he walked into football. It's on his Instagram page. He walked into the football stadium and they played Chief Keef for him, and he knew he wanted to go there. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, they play those games. So bringing it back to the evaluation space, like
It might hang.
I don't